Hi guys, I'm Kimberly from Kimberly Loves Books, and I just wanted to talk to you today about how I log my reading. So one of the ways I log my reading is through Goodreads, but I don't always remember to update or to actually log on there what books I've read and when I've read them. So I have this book, and yes, it's a Ravenclaw book, and it has my key, which is basically I read, and it has 24 books per page. So as you can see, I have written down the books I want to read, and then a red tick is when I've read it. So that's one way of keeping track. So if I find out about a book through a YouTuber that I like the sound of, I write it down in here so I don't forget it. I also, if I hear about a new book that's coming out, I write it in here so again I don't forget. So that's one way. And then I use my library, but until this year I didn't really check how many, like, keep a total of how many books I get out through the year. So since July I have got a grand total of 116 books from my library that I've read. So this is my Hogwarts notebook. It's got a little clasp, and then on the front it just says library books, and then this book plate which I got online. I can't tell you where I got it, but it just says property of Hogwarts Library, which I love. And then here is just a key which says read, or if I've DNF'd a book. So 2018, and then I write down the title of the book I get. So I've read 116 books from the library so far, and I've got another 7 to go. And one of those books is A Map of Days, which I found in my library. I've been really lucky with my library. So with the Overdrive app, I've had Sadie, The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and there's been a few others that have recently come out which I've managed to find on my local library app, which I'm really shocked but really happy about. And then another thing I wanted to do for my own personal view, because I never used to track my reading until this year, I want to know whether I'm reading an author's complete work. So I love to read, and I will find an author and I love to read the books that I know about, but I decided I was gonna see if there were books I didn't know about. So obviously my first page is Jane Austen, and I haven't ticked off a few of the books that I have read, but I haven't read all of her work. And then Rebecca Bradley, I've read all of her work apart from one. And then David Field, I've read 5 of his books. There are 2 books I've got out at the moment, and there's an 8th book that's due out next year in this series, the Esther and Jack Enright series, which I love. And then Lee Strauss is another one of my favourite authors from this year. I've read a lot of her books, but as you can see there's quite a few left that I haven't read. Karen Cholton, who I found in July, and I practically binge read every one of her books that she has out. There's this book here, Murder in Park Lane, which is out next year. I broke my rule. I pre-ordered it because I love her series, I love her writing, and I've got the Detector Lavender series on my shelves, so I pre-ordered it to own. And then there's one more book afterwards. So this is my Book of Authors complete works. So it just lets me know what books what author I read the majority of their books from, and it's also a way of me keeping track of finding some of their work. And then for next year, like I said, I keep track on Goodreads, but I don't always remember to upload or to track because I don't always turn my computer on, and I don't have Goodreads anywhere else. I find having the app on too many of my devices is distracting. It just means that when I'm on my phone, I don't really want to be going on Goodreads and adding 1,000 more books to my want to read, which at the moment is about 843 books that I want to read on there. And like I said, if I went on, I would probably add about another 1,000 books to that, which I don't really want to be putting that much pressure on me. So I wanted to find a way of also keeping track physically, and I found this, and this I got from Amazon. So it's my reading journal, and this logbook belongs to Kimberly Loves Books 2019 book 1. And what I like about it is it has room to track 200 books, so you can put the book title, the author, the genre, which I won't be doing. I'll be putting stickers in to denote whether it was a physical book, an ebook, a audio book, whether it was a reread, whether I own it, whether I want to buy it, whether I bought it. And then underneath is my star rating, which I do keep track of. So 1 is I didn't like it, 2 I enjoyed it, 1 I didn't like it, 2 it was okay, 3 I liked it, 4 I loved it, and 5 I would reread it. And I only keep 4 or 5 star reads, so that'd be the star rating. And then the date completed, I don't write down the date I started the book. I don't really keep track of that. So here would be where I got it from, so whether it was owned, whether I got it through Kindle Unlimited, whether I got it through my library, whether I got it through my friend, my nephew, my dad. It would be where I keep track of that. And then it has room for 200 books, and then right at the back it has book review section, which is something I want to try and get more into next year, because I normally just give a star rating but don't really normally explain why I gave that star rating. And then there's another thing here where I can books I want to read, and then this book, which is the 5-star club. So it's just a way of you keeping track of your 5-star reads. And then this section is recommendations, so list the books you think friends or family might like. So, and then on the back is just the last couple of pages is note pages, so you can write down your thoughts and feelings on, or write down future release books that are coming out. So that's how I keep track of my reading. That's how I log what I read. So like I said, I'm Kimberly from Kimberly Loves Books, and I hope to see you soon with a new video.